That's why I say you're doing good now.
Yeah, I tried to send a link to Tati and go to the man because the man sent an email.
Okay.
So Tati gonna send him the link, then he would join us. That's why I did it. You getting me? Man, are we on now?
We are live.
You ready?
We are live. I think the man's on. I think the guest is on.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is the table.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What is that?
How are you, Council? How are you, Council?
When I see you're playing music, can I make a request for music?
Okay, show.
The people lie to us. They fool us. But Takunje.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that the council request, the council get a platform today. So anything for you, Council.
The
All
people
right.
like to Obatakunje.
Yeah, the people lie to us.
Okay.
Right.
Share the video. We are in conversation with the most astute presidential aspirant of our nation, Liberia, the oldest nation in Africa. The man that have come to transform. He's going to tell you his platform, what he have on to, deliver to the Liberian people. So please share the video. Let the message reach to as many people around the world. Please share the video. XYZ.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Chairman, play the music so we can start rolling the ball real quick because we have the aspirant waiting on us. Where's the chairman?
You gotta keep talking. I gotta send your music.
Thank you very much. Anyway, today OP Table Special Edition. OP Table Special Edition with Councillor Presidential candidate or President aspirant, Councillor Tiawan Saye Gongloe. In Indianapolis, Indiana. Today we're going to be elevating the discussion with the greatest mayor of Liberia, the president aspirant from Liberia, Tiawan Gongloe Councillor from the Liberty Party. From the
Liberian People's Party.
The People's Party in Liberia.
Liberian People's Party.
The Liberian People's Party. Thank you very much. Chairman, are you there?
Keep talking. I gotta find the video, please.
Okay. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in Liberia or if you are in Maserado County, we have the aspirant with us here. If you are in Niba County, Maryland, Magibi, Lofa County, Grand Crew, Bomi, Bon County, Niba County, wherever you are, we have the aspirant in studio with us today in Indianapolis, Indiana. We are here discussing the issue of Liberian people. We have the aspirant, Mr. Tiawan Gongloe, aspirant of the People Liberian Party.
The Liberian People's Party.
Okay, the Liberian People Party. Thank you very much. Are you there?
LPP, the Liberian People Party, LPP.
Chairman, are you there?
Forget the chairman. Continue.
You have to continue with the guest, please. I have to search his
chairman.
music. This was an impromptu request, and
Okay,
I will
no
search the
problem.
music and get the music, please. And the party is the Liberian People Party, Liberian People Party,
No,
LPP.
the possessive is on the people's. Liberian People's Party.
So yes, Liberian People's Party is LPP, Liberian People's Party.
Okay, Liberian People Party, LPP.
So
Thank you very much.
please entertain the guest as I'm trying to find the guest music that he requested. The people like to all about Taco J. To find Liberian music to down the YouTube is hard. So I'm finding your music, Councillor.
Thank you. I'm trying to get your music, Councillor, no problem.
While you are finding the music, let me start this show by condemning the barbaric, diabolical, and uncivilized act committed in Monrovia today by members of the CDC against Senator Prince Johnson and members of his congregation. The information I got from Monrovia is that during the worship service at Senator Prince Johnson's church while he was on the pulpit, a group of members of the CDC entered the church in a violent manner that disturbed the whole congregation, and they didn't have a peaceful worship today. On Mother's Day, this is uncalled for, and I call on all Liberians to condemn this act. As we move towards election, you can't do this. And the action was a violation of Article 14 of the Constitution, which guarantees freedom of worship. Similarly, I condemn the statement made by Senator Prince Johnson, holding the Southeastern people collectively are people who cannot handle political power well in Liberia. We cannot engage in collective guilt. In his interview today, he said power is not good for the Southeasterners. You cannot do that. We cannot marginalize any group of people. We cannot negatively describe one group of people. We cannot divide this country. That statement undermines our reconciliation and national unity and is equally condemned.
Thank you very much. That's a good opening. We are seeing that the councillor is cutting the Nindo right in the middle. Is condemning the actions on the other side, but equally so the statement of PYJ, because our democracy is very fragile. Councillor, we have your music by Takunje. We'll play it, then we'll get the ball rolling. The people lie to us.
Thank you.
If that's not it, but that's it. I think they lie to us about to play it.
The people lie to us.
Is that it?
Yes.
Please share the video. Please share the video. Help us share the video. We are here in conversation with the presidential aspirant, Councilor Tiawan Saye Gongloe, right here from the city of Indianapolis. As you can see, Councilor got his broom in his hand. Councilor has been sweeping Indianapolis the entire weekends. Corruption. And no councilor will leave from here. When councilor leave from here, there will be no corruption in the city of Indianapolis in the Liberian community. Councilor not just focusing on Liberia alone, he focusing Liberia, all Liberian community around the world, as you can see.
Yeah, wherever you are listening from, we are talking about bombing, we are talking about bomb, we are talking about Lofa, we are talking about Mike Gibby, we are talking about Grand Bassa, we are talking about Grand Jide, we are talking about Bipolu, we are talking about Nimba, we are talking about Grand Crew, we are talking about Monserrado, we are talking about Grand Cape Mount, we are talking about Maryland, we are talking about River G, we are talking about River Sets, we are talking about Sano, we are talking about Grand Jide. Wherever you are listening from back home, we say there's this open table. And we are playing Takun J. The people lie to us. I think the people he's talking about the politicians. He's talking about the politicians and he's talking about the government. So share the video if you can. We'll be talking with one of Liberia prominent sons, a very humble man. Some call him poor man lawyer, but I don't know the lawyer to be poor, but it's because of his work for the poor people. So I think that's where he get the poor man lawyer name from, because he's working for people who cannot pay according to maybe his career, his wage. But it's okay sometimes to be poor man lawyer, you know. The Bible says God will bless the meek.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think we can start. We will continue to play the music along the way.
We'll end his music. His music is about to end, and then we'll dive into the issue. We have to make sure. If you are privileged to watch this video, you can see Takunje. I mean, he's out there in the street. You can see how Liberia and how the youth are looking. So the people fool or the people lie to us. Well, it's good to have you here, Councillor. Tiawan say Gongloe. It's a good thing that you are here. We know that you are a humble man, a man of great wisdom, and it's a good thing to have you here. But before we get into the discussion, we will give you the platform to introduce yourself for those listening who would like to know you. I think some of us already met you and we have been following you, but just for our listening audience, for you to introduce yourself quickly.
So my name is Tiawan Saye Gongloe. Saye means I'm the first boy of my family. Just to educate people who don't know. I'm a lawyer by training. I'm also an economist. I've taught both courses at the University of Liberia. I've been in the civil society as a human rights advocate and human rights lawyer. I have been in government as executive assistant to the interim president of Liberia, Dr. Amos Saye. I was Solicitor General. I became Minister of Labor. In terms of international service, I was member of the United Nations Observer Mission in South Africa in 1994 as UNV coordinator in Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape, South Africa. One of the greatest moments of my life to be part of the transition from apartheid to the rule of the majority. Then I worked with Cllr Center as electoral consultant in 2005 in Ethiopia. I also worked as an election observer in Ghana in 2008 for Cllr Center. In terms of international awards, in 2003, I was one of the 3 human rights defenders in the world honored by Human Rights Watch in New York. I also won a Human Rights Award from the A. Philip Randolph Institute, the oldest Black labor movement in the United States. I was given the Bayer Rustin Freedom Award. I was a research scholar at Harvard, W.E.B. Du Bois, the prestigious W.E.B. Du Bois research fellow at Harvard in 2004, Harvard University. I went on to become a human rights policy fellow in 2005 at the Kennedy School of Government. At that time, the current global USAID director, Samantha Power, was in the department. Her office was next door to mine office. And then Roy Stewart was another fellow in the department. He went on to become a member of the British Parliament. He's a very good friend of mine. He's currently teaching at Yale University as a retired parliamentarian. We are staying in contact. I'm also staying in contact with Samantha Power. Then the General Romeo Dallaire, he was the UN peacekeeping force commander in Rwanda at the time of the genocide. He's a Canadian. He was a fellow also at the Cllr Center for Human Rights Policy. He and I co-authored an article that was published in Chicago Tribune, I think March 13 or 14, 2005. The title of the article was Impunity is a Threat to Peace, talking about the need for trial of Charles Taylor. So there's I can go on. My CV is maybe 2-3 pages of all kinds of things. Locally in Liberia, I won so many awards. 2010, I was the Man of the Year, Inquirer Newspaper Man of the Year. That was the year that I resigned from President Salif's government. They felt it was a courageous act. I felt it was a normal act. Therefore, the paper named me Man of the Year. I've been lawyer for the journalists and lawyer for the poor. At the time of my service in Liberia, some of the poor people were the current leaders of the CDC government and the party. Moba Molu, Jefferson Koji, the Supreme of Grand Bazakande, Janje Bape, and Kalasco, so many people in CDC. At that time, when we were not in government, they could not afford to pay me, so they were part of the poor people that I represented at the time. That's why I'm surprised that they would do to Senator Prince Johnson today what they were arrested for, and I defended them when they used to get in the street and do protests, which I felt was their fundamental right to do, and were arrested. So why would you attack a church when they are worshiping in violation of Article 14 of the Constitution of Liberia, which guarantees right to freedom of worship? So that's my background. I think I've said a lot about myself. Liberian people know me to be a poor man's lawyer. Now they're calling me the broom man, the man who is coming to government to clean corruption, to make the government, like people who serve in the government of Liberia, to obey commandment number 8, which is thou shalt not steal. Okay, for the Catholic, it's commandment number 7. But the commandment that says thou shalt not steal. Once that commandment is obeyed by those who serve in the government of Liberia, Liberia will move ahead. The development of Liberia will unfold, and it will develop fast. That's my vision, and that is the mission I'm on to achieve for Liberia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Your CV is, I think it can be an entire book. It's very long, it's lengthy. We are pleased to have you here, but we will be asking some questions. I know Liberia is all we have. We as Liberians, we are always concerned about things happening back home. So we'll be bouncing with questions between the panelists on this platform, and we'll be asking that you address them. So please take your time to answer these questions. When you want us to read, we can do that for you. So we'll ask Mr. Jonesy SYZ to go first, and then he can ask his question, and then we'll follow by Mr. Yan Gongloe.
Thank you very much. Mr. Aspirant, my name is Jonesy Okoye. According to you, you are a professor at the University of Liberia. And now you are about to become the president of our country. And that's a big thing. I like that. So when you become president, comes October 10, 2023, what mechanism can you put into place to have a very good monetary policy of Liberia?
Monetary policy?
Yeah, monetary
Money.
policy of Liberia.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, one of the things that is wow. First, we will make sure First, we will make sure that the Central Bank of Liberia knows exactly how much is in circulation in Liberia today. Most of our money should be in a bank and not being in private hands. Today, we see that a lot of our Liberian dollars are in the hands of powerful people in the CDC government, as they have been displaying it. And putting all that Liberian dollar on the market increases the exchange rate and brings more hardship to Liberia, because it translates into increasing the prices of essential commodities, and the people get poorer as a result of that. We have to be thinking about, the studies have been done about whether or not we should use 2 currencies or 1. And many people believe that we should do what is happening in other West African countries. Use 1 currency, our Liberian dollar, and then to control it so that it has its value. And then to have exchange rate, to have US dollars and other foreign exchange that we want to be obtained through the central bank. In that way, there will be some control. Today, there's no control. And we're using the US dollar and the Liberian dollar. When there's inflation in the US dollar, Liberian people get double inflation, because there's inflation, there's an increment in the exchange rate, and all of that burden goes to the poor Liberians. So we have to look at, I would set up a committee to look at the use of single currency as happening in Africa, is happening in Ivory Coast, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghana, all the other places. It will be helpful for our Liberian economy. We need to control the 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 money that is in circulation in Liberia. The role of central bank is to be the government bank, to set the money, the bank rate, to control the excess reserve. All of that to at least make sure that prices are somehow controlled, that the central bank knows exactly how much is in the bank and can advise the government on what to do in terms of the movement of money in the country. If the central bank is not performing any of its traditional roles, or even if it performs it, and there's so much money outside the central bank, even if it sets the bank rate, engage in uh, controlling of excess reserve, uh, engage in open market operation, which are the functions of the central bank, it will have no effect on the movement of money. And so there will be effective central banking. To perform its traditional role will not be effective. So I'm looking strongly at having a single currency, just like all of the West African countries. Because West Africa is moving towards one currency, though. That discussion is on. When finally everybody agrees there will be one currency for the whole of West Africa, and believe it, that currency then will have a stronger value, Yeah.
Thank you very much for your answer, and we'll move on to Mr. Yan Nedevolole to ask his question.
Well, Councillor, thank you, for this lengthy discussion so far. I know you've been busy. I saw you on multiple platforms today, explaining to the nations, to the world, your plan for Liberia, of transforming Liberia. For me, I'm a student of psychology, and also I'm a criminal justice, working in the criminal justice field. And I know I asked you this question, but just for the sake of our audience and the audience around the world, the people that are watching us from all over around the world, I focus mostly on the forgotten populations in the country, Liberia, which is the the incarcerated individuals in our country, and also the mental health field. Knowing the kind of place we come from, like the 14 years of civil war, the Ebola crisis, comes with poverty, come with yeah, coronavirus. It contributed immensely to the the mental health issues in the country, and these are the area that people, policy makers don't talk about, lawmakers don't talk about, and all of our government officials that we depend on to address issues like that, they don't talk about. What do you have in your plan for in transforming Liberia, in addressing the mental health issue and the lack of rehabilitation in the prison system?
Okay, so all of those things have laws and already policies that are there. Our major, already there are policies. Our major impediment in Liberia is the lack of political will to implement the laws, to even implement existing policies that worked before, regulations and all of that. Look, the criminal justice had three tiers, arrest, trial, and when people are convicted, the correction aspect. We have tried even on the arrest side, we have problem there because cases are not properly investigated by the police. Very often, they charge people without full investigation, not much evidence, and so people get to jail. And this is increasing the pre-trial uh, uh, detainee population that exists, not just in Monrovia, but all about prisons all over the country. Prisons actually belong to convicts, pre-trial detainees. There are some pre-trial detainees, as you observe, uh, as somebody who's an expert in the area, that are of misdemeanor, maybe where people could stay in jail for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They exceed the maximum prison term of 1 year and go to some people spend 2 years in jail. People forget about them simply because there's not much monitoring going on. So when I'm president, as a lawyer who has worked in the criminal justice system, we'll be asking Ministry of Justice for the report on the prison. What are the prosecutors doing? Are they going to the prison compound to find out whether somebody has exceeded the time they should be there before case comes to trial? The law requires that the prosecutors can dismiss a case if the statutory period for bringing a case has expired. The defense counsel can also dismiss a case. The court by itself, through jail delivery, can dismiss a case by itself. All of these mechanisms are there for protecting people's rights, but the work is not being done and nobody is monitoring to find out whether these people are doing their work. And as president who is working in that area, I will ask the basic questions for those who should do their work so that people are not arbitrarily put in detention by the police. And if people are put in detention properly, charged and sent to prison properly, they do not exceed the time they should be there for trial to reduce the pre-trial detention population. Okay, that is the one thing. The other thing is to build a larger prison compound. I think it was in Cheesemanburg or Royalsville, one of the places that was identified by government, to build a bigger facility that will have the capacity for different training programs as part of the rehabilitation process. You go to Central Prison, where's the football field, where's the basketball gym, where's the volleyball area, where's the library, and where different things to sort of humanize the even the convicts, to sort of normalize them, rehabilitate them and make them, gradually while they're in prison to come out of prison as productive citizens. That capacity is not there at the Monrovia Central Prison. That is the biggest prison that is so congested. It was built for 300 prisons, but now it's hosting more than 1,000 prisons. They are all jammed up there like sardines. So it just is what exists at the Central Prison is totally, contrary to what should happen. It's not ideal prison facility. It is actually a place of human rights violation. And that I will work on to change so that the prison facilities become a place for rehabilitation. We call it correction center, but it is not correction center. It's only correction center in need.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for answering that question. I would like to take you back a little bit. When you read your CV a little bit. You made mention of the recognition about Men of the Year. So I want you to tell the listening audience what prompted you to leave our government at the time. For some, we know that service is an honorable thing, and for others, it is a privilege. But what prompted your decision to leave government at that time?
Working as Solicitor General, I noticed that there were some people that were corrupt, and we used to have this conversation about it. Apparently, the president was, reluctant to bring to justice some corrupt people in the government who were very close to our friends and relatives. And then when I became Minister of Labor, I remember one time when I was Minister of Labor, she said she was going to review all of the ministers. And she forgot about calling me. And I called her special assistant and said, I'm a minister to the president, will not review me. When I got there, she said, I review people this way. You come, if I've heard that you are lazy, you're not working, or you're in the cookie jar, I got a report, then I'll question you on it. But nobody has given any negative information, but your hand is not in the cookie jar. You are the first to go to labor ministry and the last to leave. So I don't have anything on you. Do you have anything on me? I say yes. Even people down waterside know that there are people in your government who are very corrupt and they are close to you, they are relatives, they are friends, and you don't want to remove them. But just the other day, you suspended Swazi Genesis from Ministry of Post and Telecommunication. He was an assistant minister at the time. They say for giving electricity to people in the neighborhood and collecting money from them. I said, that's not the kind of corruption that people are talking about now. What is that? People are taking real big money from this government and they are big shots. She said, and then she said she was going to do something about it. Of course, a week later, she dismissed one minister in government. But being in government, I saw there was reluctance, and she wanted to give an easy ride to some of the people who were close to her. So I was in Geneva representing the government in Switzerland, along with the Minister of Justice. And we just had the president has sent all the ministers on compulsory leave for 2 weeks. And she will call them back, to the people who she will call back at the post she wants to retain in the government. The people she will not call at the post she doesn't want. And the presumption was that the people who will not come back were corrupt people. I thought that was not the way to fight corruption, that you should call spade is spade. Dismiss those people, prosecute them. Don't go through the back door to give them easy way. They just easily drop them out of the government so they don't feel the pinch. In fact, I consider it strengthening impunity rather than, bringing about integrity in the governance of our country. So I issue a strong press statement against her, 13 pages. And then she still called me back in the government. I said, no, I'm not coming back in the government. That's how I resigned from government. That is how I left the government. And Cllr felt that it was a courageous act that they wrote in that story, we have not seen anybody resigning from the prestigious post of a minister, So they felt it was a courageous act, and they named me Man of the Year. I still have the photo hanging in my office.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I can side with the inquiry because I think that is very courageous, not just leaving, but to read details your grievances to the president at the time. We understand that serving government is a privilege for many. So we'll move on to Mr. Eswazi. If you have another question, you can go ahead with the question.
Yeah. Okay. My next question is, to be honest, I'm a student of economics, and you are the professor. So, and you're going to become the president of this country, of our country, Liberia. So, I think we might dive a little bit into that because the Liberian people deserve better. So, my next question to you is going to be part of the labor force in Liberia. In labor productivity depends on three main factors: saving, investment, physical capital, technology, and human capital. What are some mechanisms you are going to put into place about these three main factors? What mechanism are you going to put into place about these three main factors?
Okay, so that's the question?
Yeah.
So you're really bringing me into economics class, which is not really meant for public discourse. We have on this public platform ordinary Liberians who are voters who will not appreciate or understand the technicality that you're going into. But let me speak in simple terms. Labor, a worker is called a laborer. Labor is a factor of production, all right? Labor and capital are factors of production, machines. Now, the thing that makes labor to perform and become efficient is qualification and the incentive that is given the price that you pay for labor, which is called the wage or salary of an employee. That should be determined by law or regulation or by collective bargaining of workers, the employees, and the employer. The current labor law of Liberia, the Decent Work Act, was produced under my administration. I sent it to the government, to the president of Liberia since 2010. It came out after long years of debate by the legislature in 2015. That's the current labor law of Liberia, Decent Work Act. It contains the minimum wage. It has the what we call the tripartite council for determining wage level and other conditions of service. And it also has provision for trade unions. Trade unions can bargain with the employers on conditions of service, including the wages and salaries of employees. It can be by agreement. Sometimes it can even be above the minimum wage that is set in the labor law. So we implement the labor law. And when we find it necessary, based on advice, we improve the labor law. Many provisions of the labor law, I don't believe have been, scrupulously applied today. But we make sure that the Decent Work Act is fully implemented, and we'll make sure that the conditions of service of the different employees working in the private sector are good. Everything will be done for a better Liberia. A better Liberia means, when people work, they should be properly paid. They should work under a proper atmosphere. We will be looking at the interests of the employers and the employees in a way that will be equitable, so that both sides are satisfied. Because you want companies in your country to employ now, and you want the employers, as they make profit, to take good care of the employees. And so we'll look at all of that. As someone who has been labor minister, that's an area that I'm very well versed in. And so we take care of that.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for at least touching on that question, even though it's deep economics. And we're here trying to discuss sometimes the bread and butter issue, but it's okay that you answer some of these questions, and we thank you for that. We'll now move on to Mr. Jan the Devolver to ask his question. Unmute yourself, yeah.
Yeah, what's happening?
Please unmute yourself.
No. I was on mute. Sorry. I was on mute. Yeah. Council, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Once again, under this regime, Liberia had lost her integrity in the justice system. And few days ago, the Capitol building that is meant to, the Capitol building is actually used as the first point of integrity in our nation. There where respect begins for the nation. We saw that few staffers of the Capitol Hills went in the chamber, in the joint chamber, and endorsed candidate in the joint chamber, and it led to the ruling government taking outsider in the joint chamber too to prove to those people like indoors that we can do the same. And that what led to today incident with Prince Johnson. I know you vehemently condemn the incident today. So what do you think, honor your redeem as president, President Gongloe? What will you put in place to redeem the integrity that have been lost under this just real government for our justice system?
Well, to uphold the rule of law, to ensure that there's law and order, and that everything happens in accordance with the law, and those who break the law will be punished. Because what time those people took to do what they did during working period, because the code of conduct says that from the working period from 8 to 4 or 9 to 5, whatever it is, an employee of government should be at work and not doing any other thing unless excused by his superior. So, instead of doing their work, some of them are civil servants, some of them are political employees that are staffers of the office. In a capital building, they have some staff that are brought there and they are working with the representative or senator leaves. They live with them, but there are also staff members who are civil servants. They were doing a political rally during the time they should have been at work, in clear violation of the code of conduct. So again, that's a violation of the law. You see? So when I'm president, I'll make sure that those who violate the law are punished in accordance with the law. If we are following the law, that will not happen. The staffers could have had a rally somewhere else. Yes, they have freedom of association, but at the same time, they have no right to disturb work at public offices because other people are doing different things. That's what I think.
All right. Before we open the line, we'll be asking you some one question. I mean, it will come. You can take a stab at this one. According to Psalm 33, verse 23, it said, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord." So, are your steps to run this race or to take away corruption from Liberia? Are they ordered by the law, or is something that you just believe in yourself? Is there something you prayed about? Is there something you? And if I'm talking about prayer, while we still on prayer and talking Bible a little bit, can you tell us like your religious background, if you are a Catholic or whatsoever it is?
Yeah, I'm a Catholic.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a Catholic, but I'm a Christian, but from the Catholic denomination. Listen, did you say Lord or LAW?
Lord, Lord, the Lord. In the Bible. I was quoting Psalm 37, verse 23.
I strongly believe that I prepare myself all through my life to perform any role for the people of Liberia, to move my country forward. I didn't know in my life I would ever be executive assistant to a president. I didn't know I would ever be Solicitor General. I didn't know I would ever be a labor minister. But when the opportunity came, I was fit and I was appointed. Today, our country is going down, and a lot of citizens in this country, in Liberia, turn to me and say, Gongloe, will you sit there? It's just that when before I became president, a lot of young lawyers came to me and said, Gongloe, you need to run for the presidency of the bar to straighten the bar. And other lawyers, many lawyers, and even people from the diplomatic community have said Councillor Gongloe administration elevated the bar to a higher level. So I feel I should do this. Now I'm not going to be one of the president because yes, we communicate with God, we pray. I'm not going to say that God told me to do this. No. I don't think that I have the capacity to say that. I'll be lying to myself. I don't know, But everything that happens in life, as Christians would say, is the will of God. Even our death, illnesses, everything, we say that's the will of God. That I can say. But I will not say, oh, that God told me to run for presidency. No, I wouldn't say that. All I know is that I'm grateful to God I'm alive and I'm healthy and He gave me the strength to do this. But I always quote Albert Einstein, who said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. I say that the government of my country is doing evil by not paying attention to the security and welfare of the Liberian people that has put our country virtually in the ICU, in the intensive care unit. That is my conclusion. And then I sit and not do anything about it, then I am, I'm the worst person, not those who are doing evil, because those who are doing evil are probably doing it out of ignorance. But if I know that they're doing evil, then I should step in.
So now that
And that is why I'm stepping. And John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. This is what I think I can do for my country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much again. Sorry for interrupting, but so now that the country is in the RC, I think you are saying that you are the most qualified surgeon out there to do this operation to deliver this country. Is that what
That's why I feel. Why? Because through my life, I have been critical of government. You can only criticize if you know better, if you know what is right and wrong. All right? So I have not been silent. As far back as 1978, as a university student, I went to jail for being critical of government action. And I've been critical of government action all through my life, which means I've been paying attention to how our country is governed. Some people have been silent all through. Maybe they didn't know what was wrong, what was right, and therefore they could not criticize. They accepted everything. There are some people who just accept everything. But I don't accept everything because I read our Constitution and I knew and I read so much about our country's history. Our country was meant to be the country that will show to the rest of humanity that Black people are capable of governing themselves. That is what is in our Declaration of Independence when we declare ourselves independent in 1847. That dream has remained elusive because of greed, ignorance, and arrogance. And I am saying that can be changed around. My mission, my vision is that a better Liberia is possible, that story can be changed for the better. And I'm on a mission to do it.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll be opening the lines for those listening to ask you at least 2 or 3 questions if you allow us to, please, and then we'll be able to wrap it over here. We know you have to get some sleep because you need some rest. So let's open the line. Number to call is 317-717-1162. 317-717-1162. The number is right below our conversation. So, Mr. Yanni Devole or SYZ, do you have one question while waiting for callers to come in or for the counselor?
Yeah, let me ask one more question.
Brief, please.
Before we get a call. My third question is, what approach do you take when making big picture decisions? What approach?
Oh, well, one of the things I do is to first know the problem and then to consult. So, most problems that exist in society have existed before. The reason for consultation is to for you to make a better decision, not to make the same mistake that have been made before and corrected. So, for example, now I want to be president of Liberia. That is why I'm going all over Liberia and in the United States to talk to Liberians. And I've talked to Liberians in China and other parts of the world virtually, you know, so that I can know the problem. I can gain wisdom by people telling me, just by people asking me some of these questions. And in some places, people making suggestions. I'm getting a lot of knowledge that will put me in a position to solve the problems that have kept Liberia behind. Because I say I want to change Liberia's bad story for the better because I strongly believe a better Liberia is possible. I've gone over 300 towns in different parts. What I know about Liberia today, I didn't know. I didn't know there's a town called Boajiken, for example, in Roji. I love that town. I slept there in Grand Cru, Belwan in Grand Cru, Jakaken in River G, Bokeza
Lofa.
in Lofa County, Harristown in Bapolo, Wangekor in Cape Mount, Bojezie Town in River Cess, Zono Town in Grand Basin. You see, I'm not calling the cities that people know. I'm not calling Buchanan. I'm talking about Zono Town. I'm talking about Bazikia Town. One of your town members from Indianapolis here, raised Bazikia.
Yeah.
His father, his people, there's a town in Grand Basin named after them. Bazikia Town. I've been there. Zono Town. Noyu Town. In Noyu Town, Grand Basin, our name Ganayi, which in Grand Basin, in Basa means the man has come. All right? Little Basa, in Sino, Pines Town. In Grand Gile, I slept in two zones. The late Samuel those town, they put dance the whole night. And for me, as a politician coming from Nimba County, they were so happy that I would choose to sleep in two zones. That is promoting reconciliation and unity. It's important for our country to be united. That's what the broom represents too, because one strand of the broom is easily broken. But united, when the broom holds together, it's difficult to break. We cannot move our country forward without reconciliation and unity. I went to Pinestown, that's the home of the late Thomas was here. When a big man comes from one town, the town can look like an orphan, like you have nobody in your back. So when I went there, their spirits were lifted. They were so happy that I went there. I slept in the late General Kumapa's town, Zozwale in Nimba County. I went to Gongloe in Jacindo's town. Vlele is from Nimba. Jacindo, what they call Gongloe is where Jacindo came from. And I call Gongloe the political shrine of Nimba because that's where the first son of Nimba came from to participate in election, to run for the presidency. He didn't become president, but I'm following his track because, like Jackson I became minister. I got a lot of experience before I decided to run for the office. You see, there's nothing you can do in this life without experience. Even to be a mechanic, a good mechanic, you got to be a mechanic boy. So I've done a lot of work before thinking about the highest office in the executive. I've worked in other areas in the executive. Okay? So
Yeah.
that's basically it.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the lines. SYZ Ayan, do you have a caller? That we can go?
No caller yet, but I get one question for the council.
Go ahead.
Yeah, council, you from Nima County, knowing that Nima is one of the vote-rich county. And now, Unity Party, your opponents have choose a running mate from Nima County. What is your standing politically? Do you think, knowing that Prince Johnson now is against you in the race, and someone from Prince Johnson party have been chosen as a running mate to one of the presidential candidates, and Prince Johnson is known in Nima County as a political godfather of Nima County and the last saying person of the county politically. What is your standing? Do you think you're going to win Nima County?
The answer is yes. Every time Nimba, a son of Nimba, runs for the presidency, he gets majority of the votes from Nimba County. Jackson M2, Joseph Koto, Prince Johnson 2 times. The story is not going to change with me, especially for me. You know, Senator Prince Johnson is known for his role in the war. But unlike me, like me, I started school in GDL PSC in Ganta. I went to Mela Public School. I went to Tapeta. I attended 2 schools at the government school and the Catholic school. I went to San Nicolas and graduated from there. So I'm known well in Nimba, in Tapeta. In fact, when I was going around the county, when I got to Tapeta, I went to 110 towns in Nimba. Nobody in the history of politics that have covered that number of towns. I went to 110 towns, and when I got to Tapata, I got there around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the night because the road was bad. But there were over 1,000 people that came all the way on this red road. Tears came in my eyes, children, big people, to receive me, to the extent that the car was moving slowly. And I was standing in the back of the pickup. Thousands of people came in the streets in Tapeta. Because I went to school in Tapeta, they know me. They don't even know that I'm from Glaze or Bay. People from Tapeta think I'm from Tapeta because I grew up there and most of my childhood friends are still there. They are older men now. So I have a stake in Nimba too. I'm well known there. And I am not going for the vice presidency in a political party. I'm going for the position that Nimba has never had. Nimba had 2 vice presidents, Dogolier, Ino Dogolier, and Moses Blah. So that's an old story. They are looking for a new story. And so they will vote for me.
Okay, we'll take a call right now. We'll take a call for John Zia quick. Can you put that call through and then?
Yeah. Hello, Pioneer Tony Gavler. Yeah, 11 open table.
Hello. Hello, the Gongloe. This is Anthony Gavler from Indiana. I have 3 questions.
3?
One is, when you are president of Liberia, the last time I checked, capital punishment was 1979, yeah, before the OAE conference. And since then, there have been murder after murder. And will you reinstate capital punishment? 1. 2, why is it that in Liberia, the only people that are found guilty are press snatchers, telephone snatchers, but not a murder suspect? 3, what was your role in May of 1997 when a female, Naomi Johnson, in Firestone had a sex with a dog and she died because of that? And that time you were labor minister. What was your stance in that case?
There was somebody, I was on another platform today and somebody said it was 2007. Somebody announcing.
It's 2007. Tony Gavler.
There's somebody announcing 1997.
Yeah, May 12th.
He said May 12, 2007, I'm Labor Minister. I was not Labor Minister 2007. He asked that question, I think on another platform today. He said 2007. Now he said 1997. But that's not the issue. I told him today that issue you're talking about never came to me as Solicitor General. I don't even remember. I don't recollect that case. Can you imagine Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was president? If that thing is talking about happy honor President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf time, that would have been a serious issue that the government would have taken care of as female president. So I don't remember that. You remember the Hans Willem case involving a 13-year-old girl? That was a big issue in the country. All right. So I do not remember. I know that there was reported during Taylor time that there was a man across the bridge near the Seaport Bridge who it was reported was having sex with, was making his dog to have sex with females. And I remember at that time, the late editor Varma was Minister of Justice. But I don't remember that during Ellen's time, that company and the man that was across the bridge, the white man, was no more in the country. So I think there's a mistake in time and facts right here.
Okay. Do you want to take
You talk about
some other questions?
That is email talk about capital punishment. Capital punishment, Honor Judy Bryan, the legislature, came up with the legislature acceded to the second optional protocol of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights that abolished death penalty. And since that time, Liberia has not been executing people. Liberia has been putting people convicted of murder in jail for life. That's what the law provides. Liberia is a signatory to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and has acceded to the second optional protocol. When you commit yourself to international conventions and protocol, you have to abide by them. There was a third question he asked. Was it? He asked 3 questions in a row.
The third question was about the slow prosecution of murder suspects.
Yeah, well, no. Okay. Yeah, well, murder is a serious crime. What I know is that the Ministry of Justice, for a long time, murder is one of the cases that they've been successful in prosecuting. What the Ministry of the government has not been successful in prosecuting have been actually the corruption cases and things like that. But murder, theft, those are the 2 cases that government has prosecuted successfully many times. So I know that. I know of that. But there have been, since the war, there have been so many murder cases. There's not a week that passes in Liberia that some woman is not killed by boyfriend or husband or something else. And, they are having convictions and people are going to jail. And the thing is, sometimes the presidential there's presidential pardon, and some people who have been found guilty of murder are easily pardoned. I wouldn't easily pardon people who just commit murder and go to jail. Even the sentence, they should be, I don't, because easy pardon of these people is like encouraging them to kill more people. So you go to jail for life, you'll be there.
All right, I think that Councillor answered all 3 questions to the best of his knowledge. Is there any caller, Jan Vula? Do you have a caller? If not, we can try to wrap this up. The councillor got
I don't have a caller.
Eswazi, no more caller?
No more caller. I'm not seeing no call.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tiawan Gongloe, for being with us. We'd like for you to give a parting statement. Thank you again. It was nice talking with you, but we'll give you the floor to give a parting statement before we let you go. Thanks once again for coming over here and talking with us and asking.
I just want to tell all Liberians who are listening that Liberia is a naturally rich country. Let us, during this election, elect people who are competent, who have shown a track record of service to their country and love their country. People who have the know-how, who have the experience. Liberians should not buy any pick in a bag, doing wishful thinking that maybe the person will be capable of doing it. A good carpenter, no matter how good you are, cannot fix even a bicycle, cannot be a good mechanic. If you take a brand new Mercedes and give it to a carpenter, just know your carpenter will spoil it more. So we should elect people who have the knowledge and experience in governance. So at least we can be sure that there will be improvement in the governance of our country. We should not elect people because they are popular, because they have money, because they say they love the country. Our people can say, if you say you can plant new mat, show the old one, so we can believe that you will plant a new one. We should, and then our people usually say, don't buy pick in a bag. We bought pick in a bag in 2017, and today we are feeling it. Even in the sports area, we are not succeeding because 2022, Guinea, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone qualify for the African Cup of Nations. The country headed by a football superstar, the only Ballon from Africa, did not qualify his team to go to the African Cup of Nations. And I don't even think we'll qualify. Maybe and we'll never go to the World Cup because it's a different thing to play, it's a different thing to run a country and to manage football and everything. And if a man cannot succeed in his area of expertise, we do not expect him to succeed in the area of health, education, road maintenance, food security, and any of those things. So we should not vote for bag of rice, money, and liquor this time. We should vote for a secured future, a peaceful, progressive, and prosperous nation, which I believe the better Liberia agenda promises for the Liberian people. I thank you for listening to me. I am the only one in the race that is talking to more Liberians than any other person. The other people feel that their votes, because they participated in the election in 2017, their votes are stuck up somewhere in a safe or in a freezer. Good for them. Me, I'm an underdog. So I will talk to every Liberian in the United States and all over Liberia. I walk in the streets every day. I pick up one vote. And I believe with the hard work, God will help me to succeed for the Liberian people, to become the project manager to change Liberia's story for the better. Thank you very much for giving me the platform to reach my people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Council. The councilor is saying you shouldn't buy pig in the bag. You shouldn't take your car to the carpenter. And those that keep their votes in the database, they should go there and check that their memory because the vote might be gone. The vote might be gone. So you gotta work. You gotta work hard like the councilor.
That's
Hey,
true.
the councilor is giving a message. Councilor, like I want to tell you, thank you for coming. You are doing politics the right way. You are reaching the people. You are going to every corner of Liberia, and that's how politics should be done. This is not you are not taking chances here. So we wish you well. We say thank you once more. Have a good night. Get some rest, and we say thank you again for helping our table. I will close the show with your song while you're leaving. The people fool us, because if you fool us too, we'll play the music for you.
Yes.
Remix.
Yes.
We'll do remix. Okay, so we'll do the remix for you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Oh, the Council came back.
Go with them for power.
Give a little follow, brother. Give a little follow.
Well, listener in Radio Land, thank you for hanging out with us. You hear from the horse's mouth. That's why the council get in place for us. We now got to vet all of the candidates to see which one equal to the council platform to follow. The council ended with good statement. We will not vote for cup of rice and snap of Oreo. Do not vote for Vita Q, and do not vote for $5. It will not take you anywhere. Vote for substance.
Yes. Taco J is playing. The people fool us. The councillor is going to do what the people cannot do. He said we should not vote for people who think that their vote is safe in the member bank. We are not going to call name here. We are just going to say like that.
They are voters in stone.
Not picking back.
That's right. That's right.
Not
That's
bag
right.
of rice.
You know, the council is going to Liberia to sweep corruption. Yeah. That's why he brought a broom. He's taking it to Liberia to go sweep corruption. That's what we need. We don't need corruption in Liberia anymore. That's why Councillor Gongloe is going to go sweep corruption in Liberia. He got a broom.
So when the council, music finish, probably we can talk about what we think of the council delivery.
Yeah, at the back.
No, we got to talk about it here for at least.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be with the Nandadi councillor left us. I think he did well. He answered the questions, and we'd like for you guys to go ahead and do your closing, and then we can wrap this thing. It's late, and people should be going, and we touch on this next weekend in depth. But let's go. Do your closing, Jan, XYZ, and then we can wrap this
real quick. Let me close real quick. You know, it's a pleasure to be with one of the greatest men of Liberia, a president aspirant from Liberia. That's a good thing to have him on OP table. The people of Indiana, we should be proud of having an aspirant from Liberia. You know, that's a good thing. And we say to all the listeners out there, we say thank you for watching OP table. Keep doing this. This is a special edition. I know you guys did not expect this, but we applaud that all of you came on to see and to listen to the aspirant. He deliberated very well. That was a good thing for Liberian people. And like he said in his message, he's going back home to go and sweep corruption in the street and everywhere to clean Liberia. And that's what we need. Liberia should be corrupt-free, or at least to minimize corruption in Liberia. You know, that's the only country we have, and we have to put hands together and see how best we can take away corruption from Liberia, and our country will be one of the best countries in the world. And that's how it should be. So I say thank you again to the councillor for coming on OP table, and we say we will be with you in spirit in Liberia as you go through the electoral process. We are here. We will give you our support spiritually, and we are here. And we say thank you again once more for coming on OP table. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonesy XYZ, a great man of Indianapolis. We'd like to turn our attention to Mr. Jan Devolule to give his parting statement, and then we close.
Well, like the co-chairman XYZ said, I want to say thanks to all of our listeners who came on here. Without you, we will not be here, doing what we're doing. Please, every time we come on, please help us to share the video. That's the only way we'll reach as many people out there. Thanks to the host tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. You did a great job tonight. And I want to tell the council thank you. I'm learning something from the council. We always talk about Jehovah's Witness campaign, Jehovah's Witness campaign. This is Jehovah's Witness campaign to the highest peak in Liberia in the election. I think this is the first time in the history of Liberia that the candidate is reaching every corner in every districts, towns that have been forgotten. When you listen to the council, I said, council, how do you do that? Places that car cannot reach, places that, the kingdoms, we always hear about kingdom flipping in the water with people. Council take the risks to reach to people all across Liberia. This is Jehovah's Witness campaign to the highest peak. And I hope Liberians are looking at this. This is a selfless guy who, mean good for Liberia. I hope Liberians will do a due diligence to vet every candidate, to pick the best from among all the candidates in the race. I'm so glad that the council came on open table tonight, and I just want to say thank you. I'm happy, as a young man coming up. I think if I decide to get into national politics tomorrow, I think this is the trend I'm going to take. Draw Winners campaign and identify with the people. It's not because you just need vote from the people, and you will go in the various towns that is well known that only car can go. Then you just stop there, and a council, break that barriers and going across to where car cannot reach. So that means that when he get into office, he know the suffering of the people all over across Liberia to be able to meet their needs. That's a presidential candidate right there. That's a real presidential candidate. I'm glad that he's doing that, and I'm happy to be with him on the same platform today. It was a privilege. It's not a right, to be with a presidential aspirant like that. Thank you, Open Table. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thanks to Indianapolis. Thanks to the world.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Yan, and development thanks, Mr. Jonesy XYZ. A special thank to Councillor Tiawan Saye. Gongloe, he came over here, he answered the questions to the best of his knowledge. He did well, he did extremely well. To our listening audience, we say thank you. We say thank you for following us. Thank you for joining us tonight and listening to someone who's in the race. I think this man is doing politics the right way. You can say what you want to say, but he's doing politics the right way. You have to go to meet the people to where they are, and you have to sit with them, talk with them, listen to them, and just hear them. You just got to listen. You got to do a lot of listening when you are doing politics. And the fact that this man is naming some small towns and villages that we do not know about is a testament to the politics that he's doing. And he's doing politics the right way. So if this man is in the race for the second round, we should not be surprised because he's reaching every corner of Liberia. And that's how we should do politics. And he's very humble, and his message is clear, and the broom is there to sweep corruption. Thanks again once more for following us. Thanks to everybody. We say have a good night, enjoy your night, and we'll see you next week Saturday right here on Open Table. Once again, we say good night. Thank you.